Hey guys, it's Vera Sweeney from Permission to Hustle, and I wanted to share a thought that I think in my head constantly. This is something that I've held on to for probably 30 years now. It's just something that struck me so hard as a young child, and I have kept it ever since. And it's a visual that when times are tough, for some really strange reason, this is the thought that pops into my head, but it actually gets me through it. So I wanted to share it with you in case you're feeling overwhelmed, a woman in the workspace, the overload, the excess that we have to carry. There's just a lot more that women have to do. It's not just about what's on our plate. We go home, and if you have children to tend to. Suddenly it's your responsibility to make dinner. The house is a mess, and you're sort of walking around cleaning it up after coming home from 10, 12 hours a day. And it just is. On top of that, you have to make sure that your clothes are appropriate, that you're on trend to some degree. Some people don't care about this, some people do. Some people care about fitness, some people don't. There are so many balls that we have to keep in the air. And I really think about that sometimes. I think about my husband who wears holes in his socks and holes in his underwear and the same vacation shirt for the last 15 years because nobody cares. And I look at that and I say, wow, that must be so freeing. And I know these things, certain things of what I'm about to say and what I have said actually, these are things that we put on ourselves, right? We could have 10 staple pieces and wear them and over again, and that would be just fine. This is our choice to put some of the weight in our life. But for the 60, 70, 80% of everything else we carry, it just is. It is just harder. It's harder for a mom or a woman in general to just do all the things because we have so much more to do. And when I was young, now here's the funny imagery I'm about to give you. When I was young, I remember watching the Dukes of Hazzard. Very old show. I'm dating myself. It doesn't matter. And there was an episode where Daisy Duke was trying to win a competition in her local town. She wanted to be the fastest person to build a carburetor or some form of a card part. I don't know what. But she was going up against all men. She was the only woman to be competing in this competition, all men and her. And she was really fast, and the men were getting threatened by it, but she can do it. She qualified. She was able to get into this competition. She deserved to be there. And on the day of the competition, somebody did not like that she was part of this competition. And so in her booth, they shut the lights off. Now, it's a timed competition. Who can get the carburetor put together fast? And so she was in there, and they showed her thoughts out loud. She said, if I go outside and if I run around trying to find somebody to turn the lights on, I'm never going to win. I have to do this with this obstacle. I still have to do this in the dark. And so because she knew everything, and because she was capable, and because she deserved to be there, she did it. She knew the parts, she felt everything together, and she still was able to compete and to eventually win. She won with the obstacle in place, with her being in the dark. She won and showed the other people that she belonged. She belonged in the competition. She deserved to be there. And even though it was harder, she still got through it. And I swear to God, 30 years later, as a child, I must have been 10 years old, I got it. I saw that and I got it. I said, I got it. I understand what that means for me. I really did. It was so profound. And Dukes of Hazzard is not a profound show. That was a mess. Okay? It was a mess. But that one show gave me something that I have held on to for my whole life. And sometimes when I feel overwhelmed because I just come back from X, Y, and Z. I have to do X, Y, and Z. But at the same time, as I'm being so overwhelmed, so stretched thin, so running on 8% fumes, I still have to make dinner. And I still have to be the mom. And I still have to tidy up the house. And I still, when I have nothing left to give, I still have to give. I remember that scene. I really do. And I go, we have to give more. And that's just the way this is. And it's not fair. It is not fair. But it is. And so I just wanted to do a little podcast just in case anybody was out there sort of feeling that same stretch. You know, it is unbearable at times. Like there's sometimes, and then when it does get unbearable, I completely shut down and I do nothing. And then we're ordering out for 6 days in a row. But you know what? I need it. And I'm not one of those people that's embarrassed about it. I don't care. If I cannot handle what I cannot handle, I have to shut down for perseverance. And that's important too. But I just wanted to let you hear that analogy and think about yourself and understand that there are other people out there who understand that too. And that was 30 years. I mean, when was the Dukes of Hazzard? In the 70s, in the 80s? I don't even remember at this point. But it was so long ago, and I was a kid in grammar school. And I took that in. I absorbed that like a sponge. And I said, thank you. I got it. I'm holding on to this because I have a feeling that this is something I'm going to have to remember. And I do have to remember it because, you know, there's hard weeks and there's easy weeks. And we still have to get through them. We still have to get to Sunday. So it's like no matter what, you still have to push through. And just remember that the group that we created, Permission to Hustle, is sort of put in place for these overwhelming sensations. It's for these, listen, I can't figure X, Y, and Z out. I'm at my wit's end. Can somebody please help me because I have nothing left to give to this? And that's where that group should hopefully come and play for you guys. So if you haven't joined yet, please do. Search Permission to Hustle on Facebook in groups. And we're also on Instagram, so we would love to see you there. Having a lot of fun connecting with new people. We've gotten a lot of different people in the group this year, and we're so thankful for that. But thank you so much for listening to the podcast, and we'll connect soon.